Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us tmosso@the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. Once known as the Laurent Ferrier Classic Micro-Rotor, this is now known as the Laurent Ferrier Classic Micro-Rotor, and this is the Classic Micro-Rotor Evergreen. Evergreen metallic dial with a rose gold case that is still as shapely and sinuous as it was in the days of the Gallet nomenclature. This is the heart and soul of Laurent Ferrier. 40 millimeters in diameter. The watch is 11.3 millimeters thickened from lug tip to lug tip, 47.5 millimeters, with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, and you can see it wears beautifully, comfortable, flat, flush, easy to wear under a cuff because it is thin and sloped in profile. The lugs are short across the wrist and nicely curved, so you can see how much clearance I have. On either side of a 16 centimeter circumference wrist, I could recommend this watch for wrists as small as 14 centimeters circumference. The strap has a buttery smooth, light brown leather with minimal tanning. As you can see, the grain of the leather is quite evident. A contrasting stitch, a little bit of bolstering to add volume, a folded edge. On the bottom, Alcantara, a super premium and super expensive synthetic suede, often used as an optional headliner in ultra-luxury cars and as the touch point in high-performance cars. Think steering wheels, seat inserts, and shift knob. To remind you that Laurent Ferrier, the man behind the brand, was once a very accomplished endurance sports car driver. Taking a quick look at the buckle, it's very simple, but like the case itself, it's a non-generic piece. And you can see it has a curvaceous grace to it that echoes the poetry of the canister itself. And speaking of that canister, once called the Gallet, as the idea was it would resemble a pebble smoothed in a stream over eons. We have a vintage touch here, a slightly countersunk onion profile crown without signage. That's a nod to the type of vintage watches that Laurent Ferrier himself would have worked on and restored in his youth. And oftentimes you would have that onion style profile on a school watch, a pocket watch, an old wristwatch, and there would usually not be a brand on it. Now we have a soft bevel or a soft crease that runs along the shoulder on each side. We have these little teardrop undertucks to the tapering integrated lug profiles which blend into the case band, which itself has a little bit of a soft vertical, and then this lovely voluptuous domed bezel giving way to a domed sapphire over the vertically brushed metallic evergreen dial. We have assegai or spear-shaped hour and mint hands. Then we have a lancet-style counterweighted seconds hand, dart-style indices. All of the rose gold you see on this dial is real rose gold, so it will not oxidize, tarnish, or discolor over time. We have a somewhat inset countersunk small seconds with a lancet-style seconds hand and a concentric pattern internally. 30 meters, water-resistant push-down crown, flip it over, snap-back case, very traditional. Laurent Ferrier, teaming up with Fabrique du Temps, which is Louis Vuitton's high-end watchmaking cadre in Geneva. So Ferrier, Barbacini, and Navas, respectively. Laurent Ferrier and his son Christian, Barbacini and Navas, the principals of La Fabrique du Temps, and once upon a time, they were two of the three letters in BNB Concept. They are longtime movement developers. And when I spoke to Christian Ferrier, Laurent's son at SIHH, about this, he said that they're old friends. There are previous business associations between them. And in specific, it was Fabrique du Temps' access to computer-assisted design that recommended them to help on this project. And what a project it was. A jeweled staff micro-ratcheting 22-karat lathe-cut gold mass, the most silent automatic winder I've ever encountered, energizing a 72-hour power reserve via a barrel-under-barrel bridge, 3 Hz beat rate, 35 pivot joules, not adjusted in 6 positions like a chronometer, or I should say 5 positions like a chronometer, but 6 positions, which is one more than a chronometer, in fact. And so we have 6 position adjustment, crown left, crown right, dial up, dial down, crown up, crown down, giving deviation and inaccuracy no place to hide. Taking a quick look, the balance is free sprung with the adjustments done using variable inertia masses on the balance room itself. Very precise and shock tolerant system. You can also see we have an overcoil hairspring with the coil of the hairspring doubling over itself to more completely center its mass and ensure isochronous operation in any position, particularly advantageous for a wristwatch. Taking a quick look, you can see that there are 2 little wheels made of nickel phosphate phosphorus that sit underneath the escapement bridge. There's actually no Swiss lever here. It's two wheels directly impulsing the balance to and fro, a double direct impulse system based on Breguet's natural escapement. The idea is that it extends power reserve, reduces maintenance requirements. I believe it eliminates the need for lubrication altogether, and it helps to extend the power reserve. You can see the little purple thing in there. That is a silicon blocker that locks the wheel that is not currently involved in impulse. The finishing is beyond belief. As you can see, the steel decoupler for the winding system, the bridge for the balance, and then the bridge for the winding system. They're all steel. They're mirror finished. You can see on the edge of the bridge for the winding system how beautifully it's been beveled. And you can see that that's carried all the way to the crevices of the corner, that all of the jewel and screw sinks have been mirror finished internally. All screw heads black polished with chamfered slots, engine turning in several sizes on the base plate. We also have stripes, and you can see that they're shaded dark on one side, light on the other, a hallmark of true abrasive wheel stripes laid down with multiple passes rather than a cheaper stamped solution. Mirror finish that turns black at certain angles, poly noir, one of the most difficult challenges in finishing, along with internally beveling something as constricted as this skeletonized balance cock. You could see 1, 2, 3, 4 sharp interior angles where those bevels meet internally. That is an extraordinary piece. You can also see we have 1, 2, 3, 4 on the bridges themselves, and that the size of the bevel is enormous, mirrored and rounded. There are a lot of decent hand-finished bevels that are flat. This is tougher, rounded and mirrored and that broad. I wouldn't even be surprised if they went with thicker bridges so that they could draw the rounded edge up further. Truly special stuff. Satination on the wheels, and if you look, you can even see a little bit of beveling inside the center wheel. Everything here deeply impressive. The best of the best. In my opinion, this is the best Calatrava never made. And if merit were rewarded, this would just be as in demand as F.P. Journe. This is a watch of extraordinary qualities. Laurent Ferrier isn't a tablisseur. They don't make cases, dials, or movements, but they put it all together. They quarterback the project. They design all the parts. They go to the best suppliers. Then they finish, assemble, and regulate the parts. For a quarter millennium, that's how Vacheron got to be Holy Trinity. Laurent Ferrier is doing things exactly the same way. A tablissage well established. Ultimately, the verdict is the quality of the product, not the process. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.